So we are going to talk about introduction to management, efficiency and effectiveness, functions of managers, and few more things. So as we have seen that in different organizations, we have to manage people and team differently. We'll see what kind of management style we are going to follow. Now the question is, what do you think? What is management? So management is planning, organizing, leading, and controlling of human and other resources to achieve organizational goals effectively and efficiently. Right? So individuals and organizations can be unpredictable. A good manager can create predictability through solid decision making and leveraging mistakes. A focused manager who continually improve upon their decision making process can improve their organization's overall performance. So managers are very important for an organization because they deal with unpredictable stuff and they give some sense of direction to their employees and give some predictive answers to the management, top management also. So let's talk about what is managers and resource that we discussed. The managers are basically the people responsible for supervising the use of an organization's resources to meet its goal. Now, what is resource? It can be human resource like people, skill, know-how, experience, machinery, raw materials, computers, and IT, financial capital like money, patents, loyal customers, and employees. So we can see that this is an expanded version of resources that we used to think that only human resource and machineries can be classified as resources. But now we know that resources are more than that, right? Skills are also resources. Suppose if we have 10 employees and none of them know how to work with Microsoft project, then what will happen? We don't have that kind of skill, right? We need skillful resources if required. Okay. To achieving high performance, huh? Like organization performance is a measure of how efficiently and effectively managers use their available resources to satisfy customers and achieve organizational goals. So the challenge, why we're talking about these things, you can focus here available resources, not just resources. Why we're talking about available resources? It's because if we are going to manage a company or something, we will always have limited resources. We will never have unlimited resources. That's the biggest challenge that we are going to face, right? So with the limited resources, how are we going to achieve those goals? That will be a challenge to solve. If you go to any place, maybe you go to Subway or any other warehouse, you will realize that the warehouse manager will always have limited resources. They may not have unlimited supply of general laborers, unlimited supply of team leads. Answer is no. They will always struggle with lots of resources. That's how we are going to achieve the performance goals because companies need to think that how these managers can utilize, can complete the work with the help of limited resources. So what is, we discussed efficiency here and effectiveness. So efficiency is nothing but out of, it's a kind of ratio. It is called basically how productive resources are used to achieve a goal. Or in different definition, we can say that organizations are efficient when managers minimize the amount of input resources such as labor, raw material, and component parts, or the amount of time needed to produce a given output of goods or services. So does it make sense that yes, efficiency means that we can achieve something with less resources. Effectiveness is a measure of appropriateness, like how appropriate something is produced as a product or service. Right? Now, the question is why we are studying this. As a project manager, we are going to manage lots of stuff. But the challenge is sometimes you will get people who will report to you. That will be easy. And sometimes your life will be difficult because you will not get people who will report to you. They will report to some other person. Then what will you do? You will be called as a project manager, but you will not be managing lots of resources. Then what will you do? Right? So the question is, so managerial skills are in demand. So this is a very complicated work environment. Employees who can understand the complexity and respond to environmental contingencies and make decisions that are critical and effective are highly valued in organizations. So studying management helps us to prepare individuals to accomplish each of these kind of tasks. Right? So people learn through the school of hard knocks, like personal experience there for others. The study of management opens up a person to the lessons others have learned. How? If somebody is studying management, they are checking lots of, they are reading lots of case studies. Case studies means what the lesson somebody has learned from their mistakes. So we are going to learn from other people's mistake, not just our mistake. Okay. So the principle of management can guide good decision making in non-work situations as well, in your personal life as well. Right? Now let's talk about functions. Functions of managers, like we discussed in the beginning of management, the managers are working on planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And usually this is the sequence also. Start with planning. Choose appropriate organization, goals, and courses of actions to best achieve these goals. Organizing means establish tasks and authority relationships that allow people to work together to achieve organizational goals. And you need to lead on. So leadership and management are different, but lots of things will be completely same. Like lead, motivate, coordinate, energize individuals and groups to work together to achieve organizational goals. And yes, we need to control things as well. So establish accurate measuring and monitoring systems to evaluate how well the organization has achieved its goals. If we talk about planning, let's talk about planning now. Planning is basically managers identify and select appropriate organizational goals and course of action, right? And strategy means cluster of decisions about what goals to pursue, what actions to take, and how to use resources to achieve goals. In organizing, it's a structuring working relationships so organizational members interact and cooperate to achieve organizational goals and organizing people into departments according to the kind of job specific task, right? They perform layout and they set up line of authority and responsibility between different individuals and groups. All right. And they can have a formal system of tasks where we will report to each person, okay? And then we motivate organizational members so that they can work together to achieve organizational goals. Leading is very important here. Leadership involves managers using their power, personality, influence, persuasion, and communication skills to coordinate people and groups so their activities and efforts are in harmony. Leadership involves around encouraging all employees to perform a high level to help the organization achieve its vision and goal. So another outcome of leadership is a highly motivated and committed workforce. If you could check the example of Google, what happened? They had an exceptional leadership team. They led lots of members, and they said that you can spend 20% of the time in your personal projects. And based on that, everybody wanted to work with Google and good resources started working there. And now, since company is established, their leadership is already, their path is established, all the products are working well. They're not, well, they don't want to innovate new things now because they're established. They have changed it, but earlier it was open kind of environment where leaders created a system where anybody can work on their own project in the company time. And now, next part is controlling. So, the performance of individual department and the organizations as a whole are monitored by managers to see whether they are meeting the required standards or not. Okay, so it's basically whatever goals we have set for or targets we have set, we need to check whether we are achieving it or not. If I have to achieve something in 2 months, what should I do? I can announce that guys, we need to achieve this in 2 months. I will give some targets to everybody that okay, you achieve these things in 2 months, and we will meet after 2 months. You know what will happen? We are going to fail. Nobody will be achieving anything in 2 months. So what to do? So break down those 2 month tasks in weekly tasks. 8 deliveries or 8 deliverables, one deliverable every week. What is going to happen that just before the meeting, people will complete that task of week one. Sometimes, even if it is delayed, it will be delayed by a day. That's how we break down targets into smaller chunks so that we can achieve long-term objective. Okay. So, what kind of managerial roles identified by Mintzberg with decisional, with type of role? Specific role is entrepreneur. The activity example is commit national resources to develop innovative goods and services, decide to expand intentionally to obtain new customers. Okay, let's read it now and let's take a short break of 2 minutes and just read it and understand what kind of manager you will be in different situations. And of so what kind of role or specific role we are going to follow? So interpersonal type of role is figurehead that outline future organizational goals to employees at company meetings. Informational maybe monitor, like evaluate the performance of managers in different tasks and take corrective actions to improve their performance. And now the interesting part is this line, like levels of managers. First line managers are often called supervisors. They supervise non-managerial employees, first line managers, and work in all departments or functions in an organization. They work on daily supervision, correct? Middle managers are, are supervising first line managers and are responsible for finding the best way to organize human and other resources to achieve organizational goals. To increase efficiency, middle managers find ways to help first line managers and non managerial employees better use resources to reduce manufacturing cost or improve customer service. And next is top managers. Top managers establish company goals, decide how departments should interact, and monitor the performance of middle managers. If we see this triangle, we see that first line managers, then we have middle managers, then we have top managers, then we have CEO. Okay? Managers at each level have different but related responsibilities for using organizational resources to increase efficiency and effectiveness. Now, just understand how much time they spend in different type of activities. And this is how you can see. Like you can see the top managers are mostly planning. Okay. But they are not leading a lot. Why? Leading means supervising. And they are controlling a lot. And they are organizing a lot. But you can see that first line managers are not planning much, not organizing much, or not controlling much. They are leading mostly, leading the resources, right? So their place in the hierarchy determines the time managers spend planning and organizing resources. The further up in the hierarchy, the more time spent on these tasks. Now see that top managers devote their time into planning and organizing mostly. The task is so crucial to determine the company's long-term performance. For example, OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, they had top managers. They planned that they are going to develop something in artificial intelligence which can talk like a human. Now, just because of their planning and organizing, they have got lots of employees who can work on that kind of system. And then somebody worked on that kind of system, and now they have ChatGPT. Understand that? So types of managerial skills like conceptual skill, human skill, technical skills. Conceptual skill means that ability to analyze and diagnose a situation and distinguish between cause and effect. Human skill means understand, alter, lead, and control the behavior of other individuals and groups. Means you convince them of something. Technical skill means job-specific knowledge and techniques required to perform an organizational roles. Now, managers versus entrepreneurs. That's the interesting part because individuals who notice opportunities and decide how to mobilize the resources necessary to start a new business venture. So characteristics are openness to experience, internal focus of locus of control, high level of self-esteem and needs for achievement. So, entrepreneurship is being a business person is not the same as managing. It is noticing an opportunity to satisfy a customer need, decide how to find and use resources to make a product or service of full of those needs. Entrepreneurs are employees who recognize opportunities of product creation or improvement. Now, what kind of challenges? Challenges for management in a global environment. Because the world has been changing more rapidly than ever before, managers and other employees throughout an organization must perform a higher and higher levels. In the last 20 years, where we between organizations competing domestically in the same country and globally in different countries abroad has increased very much. The rise of global organizations that operate and compete in more than one country has pressured many organizations to identify better ways to use their resources and improve their performance. For example, companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, they have offices in limited countries, but they are serving everybody. Can you imagine to compete Gmail? Answer is no. For now, yes. Email is still very important, but you know what happened? Gradually, we have shifted from email communication to WhatsApp communication. Maybe in future we will have another way of communication, right? How many of you are sending emails for sharing pictures? Rare, correct? We are using WhatsApp for that, and some of you are using Telegram or other apps. So now understand things are changing completely, and sometimes I will give you some example. Like around 5, 6 years ago, companies, maybe more than that, companies don't use WhatsApp for any formal communication. They used to think that it's a social media app. But what happened gradually, now whenever I go and whenever I join any new company, I used to see that managers create some kind of WhatsApp group and use that to communicate office related activities. Usually Indians, if they don't have Microsoft Teams kind of software or Slack kind of software. So that's how people are managing different things to overcome different challenges. So if we have any question, we can ask in emails or chat or learning management system. So that's all for this topic. Please make sure you check your weekly folder to complete your weekly task.